and we don't promote this. In fact, we would shoot down anyone that would suggest this, that running backs don't matter. That's the most insane, boring, super nerdy take that I've ever heard. It just doesn't make sense. It don't make no sense. Like, uh, obviously, running backs. Thank you, Johnny Cochran. Obviously, running backs do matter, and Christian McCaffrey matters to the tune of 16 mil per year.
Man, must be nice. This is extraordinary, and you're absolutely right. For any individual out there that continues to devalue the running back position, I believe you're out of your mind. And I know when we talk about, running backs getting the bag as far as an extension, a duffel bag full of money,
Big
usually
bag.
the idea is usually that, that player, maybe 2 years from that point of getting that extension, is no longer with that team because of financial reasons. But that doesn't apply for every single back because just like every player isn't created equal, every running back isn't created equal. So, Cecil, I ask you, when we look at the running back position, should we start to separate them as far as our pass catching running backs and our Derrick Henry type of between the tackles running backs?
Yeah, your Jordan Howards, those type of two-down thumpers, I think there will be a distinct difference because in this game, the more you can do. Hell in life, right? The more you can do. And McCaffrey can do pretty much anything that you want him to do. But I do point out a rundown through history from our man Frank Schwab, Yahoo Sports, who brought up the big contracts. And just let's go back, rewind to a time. I won't bring up everybody because no one's on the edge of their seat about Jerick McKinnon and the deal that your 49ers paid him. But I will say this. When Zeke signed his big deal, we're like, okay, cool. It's incomplete, though, whether or not that deal has worked out. When Le'Veon Bell signed his big deal, we're like, what a great deal. And they missed out. Gurley, dude. And I love Todd Gurley. I mean, love him. And to think that Todd Gurley would get cut 2 years after signing 4 years, $57 million deal, would have never guessed that. So, again, I'm not going to bring up everybody, Devontae Freeman, Lamar Miller, Jerick McKinnon, David Johnson, but just those top three, Zeke, Le'Veon, and Gurley, all three who can catch passes, Bell more so than the other two. It's an interesting move by Carolina. I'm glad that they paid Christian. I want to be very clear about that. But it's also something that hasn't necessarily worked out for the other teams that have done this.
Well, they haven't, but if we pull back the layers on the situation, we can actually see why. It's not just the fact of, hey, listen, these guys are running backs. They fall off the turnip truck, as some would say, that you can just grab a back and throw them in there. That's not the case with every single back. These backs that you just mentioned, you talk about Devin Singletary with the Buffalo Bills, extraordinary runner. Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, Kenyon Drake, right? And Le'Veon Bell. There's something very unique about these guys. These are guys that they are every down backs, and that comes up every single year when the backs are getting evaluated, right? Can they run between the tackles? Can they catch the ball out of the backfield? Can they step up and kind of stone the blitzing linebackers? All these players can do it, but now they add a different element to the game because they can run routes like a wide receiver. So if you're a team and you're a little deficient at the wide receiver position, as though the Carolina Panthers were, I mean, that's what they used McCaffrey for. He was the most talented player and utilized player for the Carolina Panthers.
Hands down.
Hands down, and he's part of that, thousand club. There are not too many players that are out there like that. So for me, you can't continue to devalue the running back position because each guy is entirely different. But check this out, Cecil. Now, Colorado is known for a lot of things, right? You got the Rockies, the Avs, the Nuggets, and the Denver Broncos, and we have our altitude as well. But they are known for something else, producing big-time, money-making running backs.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So you got Christian McCaffrey, who's out front. Then it's Austin Eckler, and then it's the other guy, right? You know his name. And that's right. His initials, PL. And guess what? All the Colorado running backs have been paid. Except for one guy.
Except for one guy.
One Colorado running back hasn't been paid by his hometown team.
The other guys were further into their career, though.
Oh, give me. Oh,
So are you telling me if Philip Lindsay was with the Panthers, they would have paid him after 2 years?
They would,
because that's wrong. That's wrong. They wouldn't pay him after 2 years.
Well, I mean, they would have given him some kind of upgrade.
And I want you to be clear. I don't want to put you in a position where it looks like you're taking shots at the Denver Broncos, because that's something that people might assume. So I want to be very clear. It's 2 years in. McCaffrey was what, 4 years in? Eckler's 4 years in. Like, there's a difference in just terms of time. If it's after this season, you and I would have a different conversation. Would we not?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Are you going to plead the fifth?
No, I'm not pleading the fifth on this. Listen, I get it. And I get all the pushback and the fact that he still has another year being Philip Lindsay on his deal. But I'm just looking at from a production value. You know, these other guys, like other than Austin Eckler, who was an undrafted free agent, you know, Christian was drafted. So there's a level of expectation that comes in every year with those drafted players.
Right.
Undrafted players, the expectations are pretty low. But when a guy consistently outplays those expectations, I figure that maybe you should reward that. And just kind of, once again, looking at, you know, Austin Eckler. Yes, this his contract was expiring, so, you know, he hit free agency at the right time. I get that. I understand it. But to start to compare and contrast the skill set of these backs, and just look at the size. I mean, Christian is 5'11", 205. Then Philip Lindsay is 5'8", 190. Austin Eckler, 5'10", 205. So when individuals toss out that, oh, he's too small, I'm like, man, get out of here. Go kick rocks, right? But still, you still have to give this guy his just due. Will the Broncos pay him? I don't know. I wish they would. But I'm going to continue to beat the drum for this guy because I think he's deserved it.
I think he is probably not going to get the deal that we want him to get here. Let's just be honest.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
I think Broncos fans will have to face a future that's not going to have Von Miller and probably not going to have Philip Lindsay.